So we're going to be doing one of my favorite cuts of beef ribs to make because they're just fun to make. They're a little bit different. You don't see them all the time, but when you can get them, they're fantastic to smoke up or grill up. We're going to be smoking them up. And what I'm talking about are these beef flanken ribs, also sometimes called cross-cut chuck short ribs. You can see that the bone is right here, so if you stacked these all together, it would be a long rack of ribs, but it is cut across the bone. Got about 5 pounds of these. It's USDA choice flanken ribs. I'm going to get these in a bowl so we can season these up. Now the seasoning I'm going to be using today is the original rub from Postal Barbecue. Really good stuff. Going to get everybody coated in here, toss them around. And these are going to go in the refrigerator overnight so they can soak in that seasoning. Oh, and I get a lot of questions in comments sometimes that I figured I would just answer right here. One of them is, hey, have you ever done a blank? Pork loin, pork tenderloin, spare ribs. Well, the easiest way to find those videos is to use the search function on my channel page. You just go there, type in your search term, and videos that I've made that have something to do with that should come up. Another way you can find things is to go to the playlist section. I have videos grouped by playlist. You can find my brisket and roast videos all in one playlist, chicken videos in a playlist, Lone Star Grill videos in a playlist. So that's how you can find something on my channel if you don't know specifically where to look. Oh, and I want to say thanks to those of you who've signed up for channel memberships to support my channel. I sure do appreciate it. Again, all my regular videos, totally free. Don't have to pay for anything. The channel memberships just help support my channel, and you get some behind the scenes stuff, some extra things. Occasionally you'll get pieces of these that fall off, so don't worry about that. It's just part of the way it works. All right, let's get these loaded in some Ziploc bags. Can anyone guess which grill I'm going to be using tomorrow? Well, maybe you read the title or the description or something first, but take a guess. All right, this is going in the refrigerator overnight, and tomorrow I will see you out at the grill. So our beef flanken ribs have been soaking in that seasoning overnight, and we're about to head out to the grill to fire it up. But first I want to get a glaze made that we're going to use today out at the grill. This is going to be a ginger honey glaze. And we're going to start with 1 cup of soy sauce. We're going to add about 2 tablespoons of crushed ginger. You can use fresh ginger if you want, but these tubes of this like ginger paste, they also have them for garlic, are really handy. Final ingredient, about 1/2 cup of honey. I'm using a wildflower honey, but use your favorite honey. And this is kind of eyeball, about 1/2 cup. And we're going to get in here and slowly mix this so that honey incorporates. It's a lot thicker than the soy sauce, so you got to take your time. Want that ginger mixed in too. When you can lift your whisk up and there's not big streaks of honey on it, then you're pretty well mixed. All right, I'm going to pop this into a container in the refrigerator, and we're going to head out to the grill, get it fired up, and start smoking these flanken ribs. All right, the Lone Star Grills is up to temp. My target today is 225 to 250. I don't want to go really hot with these. They're very small flanken ribs, very thin meat on these. So I want to take it a little bit slower if I can. I've got water in the bottom of the cook chamber. This unit can hold water right down there. It's great. Just about 1/2 gallon of water. And if I spritz today, it's just going to be with plain water. And the wood we're using today is hickory. So let's go ahead and get our flanken ribs on. So we got to angle some here, a little bit of touching. No problem, they know each other. We're going to let these go for an hour. We're going to come back. We're going to check them, probably turn them at that point. And somewhere between the 2 and 3 hour mark, maybe even right around the 2 hour mark, we'll start glazing these. But we'll play it by ear. If they cook quicker, we'll glaze quicker. So I'll see you back here in about an hour. All right, we've been running 1 hour now. Temp's been holding really steady right around 250. Kind of in that 225 to 250, as I mentioned, but a little closer to 250. Let's go ahead and check our flanken ribs and spritz them, and we're probably going to turn them too. Those are looking really good color. Give them a spritz. You know, these have such a nice color right now. I'm going to make an audible. We're not going to turn these. Going to let them go another hour, then we're going to glaze them. Man, it is smelling good. I'll see you back here in an hour. All right, we are at the 2 hour mark. I am ready to glaze these. And one of the reasons I decided not to flip them is, well, I'll show you when we open up. One of the things I hope you can see here is just the amazing color on these. Now, if I flip them, you're going to see we're going to have grill marks on them. That's common, nothing wrong with that. But because these are such thin pieces of meat, if we glaze just one side, that flavor is going to be throughout it when you take a bite. So I really want to keep this really nice looking side with this great color. We're just going to glaze the top side. It's going to be fantastic. The other side is going to taste as fantastic. A lot of times if you direct grill these, you will flip them because you're going to get grill marks. But because I'm smoking them, I'm getting this really nice sort of mahogany reddish color. That's what I want. So let's go ahead and glaze these. Now you could also put these in a foil pan with the glaze, toss them around, and just put that pan back on there with some foil covering it. But I want to kiss this stuff with smoke as much as possible. I want that hickory smoke on here to really get everything. And by adding moisture here to the surface, we're going to get even more smoke flavor. Smoke loves moisture. Those smoke particles will seek out moisture, stick to it. All right, we're going to close this up, and I'm going to let these go for another 45 minutes. All right, we've been going another 45 minutes, so 2 hours and 45 minutes total if my math is correct. And I believe we're going to be done. We'll check for tenderness in a minute, but just to answer a question I get a lot of times is, well, how do you know it's going to be that long? Well, I don't. You get used to things after a certain amount of time in estimating what it's going to be once you start and once you see the process of the cook. But really it comes down to the tenderness in cuts like this. If it's tender, it's done. If it's not tender, we'll keep going. And if it is done, we're going to put these in a foil pan and cover them with foil and just let them rest inside on the counter for about 20 minutes just to sort of slowly tenderize a little more and come down in temperature a little bit. But let's check these out, see how we're doing. I think we're probably going to be done. Now I'm going to take my temperature probe here, and I'm not looking for temperature, I'm looking for tenderness. These are feeling really good. They are ready. All right, these are going in a foil pan now, covered with foil like I said, going to rest for about 20 minutes, and after that, we'll have a taste. Let's plate up some of our beautiful beef flanken ribs here. Now, a lot of people wonder, well, what would you use these with? I mean, you can just eat them like this, of course, but I love serving these with either rice right over the top of the rice or mashed potatoes because there's still juice on here that'll just sort of settle into those potatoes. I think mashed potatoes is my favorite accompaniment for these. There's a full platter of beef flanken ribs. Let's pick one and have a taste. See, I think I'm going to take this one right here. And I'm just going to cut it in half. And you can see on the other side, there are some of those grill marks, but this side took the color also. It just looks amazing. But now let's get a taste so we can get that smoke flavor, the glaze flavor, and the beef. And the rub. Oh man. Some people don't like these because they are very thin. But like I mentioned out there, one of the things about it being so thin is that flavor is everywhere. The rub permeates, the smoke permeates, the glaze permeates. It is just a flavor explosion here. I think I mentioned it in a previous video where I did flanken ribs that I don't always see them. But when I do, I grab them and then I just freeze them and use them when I want to. That is one of the nice things about these is that, at least for me, they're not completely readily available, so they become a treat. And when you treat them like this, giving them that rub, that smoke, that glaze, it just becomes one of those special sort of things to eat because you're not having it all the time. It just is extra delicious.